Hi everyone, welcome back to the Art of Save Scumming. Today we're going to be looking at our Skaven Army Compositions Episode 2, and this is going to be specifically on stealth builds. Our first episode was on crap stacks, and what we've got here for our first army is 4 Death Runners, 2 Eshin Triads, and a gaggle of Gutter Runners. And these are the variety that fire in all directions. You could obviously substitute these for your poison. If you wanted to slow down the enemy, this one was just a real quick army that I recruited because I've kind of moved past using this one. It is headed up by a master assassin, and the value to that is actually not quite realized in this army. Right here, missile strength for Night Runners and Gutter Runners. Obviously, if you're earlier in your campaign, you can use Night Runners, but one of the things that's great about this composition is this entire army stocks. So we're going to be going up against a dwarf garrison here, and this one should be a really easy battle. So this entire army is Vanguard deployment and stock. What we're going to do is split these into 2 teams. The Eshin Triads are here for anti-large, but the Death Runners are obviously anti-infantry. So what we're going to do basically is set this thing up. We're going to run it at this army, get them to pursue us. Probably we'll do it like this, so they pursue us to one side. And we're going to run these teams behind, so any stragglers can be run down. We want to not get those ones detected. So here we go. No magic in the army. We'll pick up with that on Army Composition 2.
What orders? Poisons.
And we basically just want to run these guys in here and kite them. Get them to start chasing us. This is super overkill for this army. I mean, this battle could be won with just the Gutter Runners, but I'm trying to demonstrate how this army would work. And this can take on an army, almost, I would say that this composition can take on 2 stacks.
Death Runners! Scatter! Skitter, then leap!
Obviously, you can order more menace blows if you so care, but I didn't because I didn't think that we would need them for this, but you would use those to tie up any missile infantry. So first victim here. The Death Runners are really fast, and that's why we use them in this composition.
Master Assassin! Fine! Now, ready, now! Attack! No whisper, death! Our tile's yours! Dance through shadow.
And we're far enough along that we could probably just run in and take no casualties.
Retreat! More contracts, yes? Death Runners! Blades like wind! Now, ready, now! Guide us onward! Ready!
And you guys get the idea. We could obviously run down all these troops if we wanted to, but it's not really necessary. So that was our first look. Now we're going to move on to our second stealth build. Alright, moving on to our second army composition, you can see that we're still very heavy on the Gutter Runners. These ones are the poison variant. We kept our assassin for casualty replenishment as well as stuff on the campaign map. We have 2 Warlock Engineers for more ammunition, movement speed, etc., etc. Our caster is going to be an Eshin Sorcerer because he is fast, even though in my opinion he's not as good as the Plague Priest. He can keep up with this army. And then of course headed up by Master Assassin. We're going to go ahead and order some Menace Belows here because we have artillery to deal with. Alright, let's hop into it. We're going to start out by taking our Gutter Runners, putting them up there. We're also going to put our Eshin Sorcerer up there. We're going to take both of our assassin type people and put them over on the side, hoping to get a shot at that character. And then normally we would hide our Warlock Engineers, but we don't have any place to hide them on this map, so we're going to stick them in the corner and hope that we don't have to withdraw them. If we have to, we will withdraw them. So what we're going to do is go ahead and run them back to the corner.
Shriek! Shriek!
We're going to leave these guys here undetected until our Menace Below is ready to rock and roll. Move them up a little bit, trying to get these guys around in the meantime.
Move march, yes! Power of dark.
Warp Stars is a fairly decent spell, especially in the early game. Now, our basic plan here is to just kite the heck out of this army.
Dance through shadow.
This is our main spell that we're going to focus on, and we're going to use it predominantly on our enemy missile units.
Spells ready. Ready to kill. Sneak magic here. Scurry through gloom dark. Over here. Move like wind.
Keep pinning down that artillery. We can also use Menace Belows if they get too close to us. But they're dwarves, they're pretty slow, so we really shouldn't have any problems kiting them around.
Violence mixed brood. An elite, fear I. My blade drip. Eshin Sorcerer. For swarm. Magic, no! Ready!
And the proper way to use Warp Stars is something like that.
Gather runners! Forward, backward!
All these units are stalked, so they can't be seen, but we can come in here and nail this whenever we want, as well as this guy. And there's the army losses. Now, gunner runners are also really good when it comes to running units down. You don't even have to tell them to attack the unit, because while they still have ammunition, they'll continue to fire at it. You just have to have them in the vicinity. But then after they run out of ammunition, they're pretty fast and do alright damage to the point where it's worth having them run things down. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and run all these units down. I'll see you on our last army composition for the stealth. I think you guys are going to really like this one. And for our third army composition, we have an army led by Deathmaster Snitch himself. We have front and back line this time. We have some gutter runner poison that can fire in all directions, some backline stationary gutter runners, a couple storm vermin to make up our front line, and some artillery to smash any siege defenses. You can also see that we've traded out our Eshin Sorcerer for our Plague Priest, because we're going to have a stationary position this time. We're going to form up our defensive position, starting with our artillery, line it up with our long-range gutter runners, follow it up with our defensive line, space it out properly, and then we're going to place our heroes as necessary.
Deathmaster Snitch.
In this particular instance, we have a little bit of a difficult army to take on with a bunch of aerial units. So we're going to go ahead and put our gutter runners over in the corner and do us a feint with Deathmaster Snitch.
Storm vermin! Onward!
The idea here is to lure their units into our defensive position and then hit them from behind with our gutter runners.
Yes, master. Scurry. It ends.
The most dangerous units in this army are the artillery and those gyrocopters.
Council's command. Tails forward.
And as you can see, those gyrocopters don't stand a chance. We have the option of pulling our gutter runners back and allowing them to stalk. The enemy will forget about them, or we can press the attack.
Now, ready, now. Attack. Charge.
At any point, you could choose to pull out your gutter runners and allow them to go after what they can see, which is going to be the defensive position. But we also have some artillery here, and they may just sit back and bombard us. So as much damage as we can do to the aerial units and the artillery as early as possible, the better. Of course, without taking a whole bunch of casualties on our gutter runners. We ordered up extra menace blows so that we could tie up any units that need to be, as particularly those artillery while we're trying to get at them. But you could also use them on anything that is in the army. This is a dwarf army, so Iron Drakes would be a really good one. Any of the torpedo guys would be another really good one, as well as just standard quarrelers would be an excellent target for menace blows.
Our tail's yours.
Because we have Snitch, we can use him to take on any of the lords and heroes in an army, but you could also do this with any assassins that you have in the army. As a side note, our assassin is currently off on other business. Our assassin is actually one turn behind because he had to do something in the stealth approach to this attack. Now that we've started to take damage and we're running out of ammunition, we can go ahead and pull our gutter runners back towards our defensive line. And once you've either run out of ammunition or you decide that it's time to start leveraging your defensive position, you just start pulling your gutter runners back towards that defensive line. And you can also split it into a couple different elements to make attacks where necessary, particularly if they still have some dangerous units like the artillery in the back there. It's pretty easy to split those into groups and pull units in different directions, strategically exposing elements of gutter runners or your assassins and Snitch and those types of characters to pull the enemy in different positions and basically break them up into smaller chunks that you can chew on. Now, you'll notice that we have a Plague Priest in this army. We haven't used any magic as of yet, but if they start to get really close up on the army, then we can start using magic. And we have a Warlock Engineer, but he's basically there for the purposes of expanding the ammunition of the entire army and increasing its mobility, so we don't really use the Ruin Magic whole bunch. Really, the damage dealers at the defensive line are the gutter runners, slingers, and the artillery. The storm vermin are just there to hold it back, so potentially you could use clan rats or Skaven slaves, but Skaven slaves really aren't going to hold long enough in this particular instance, and we want to make sure that that artillery isn't destroyed. The artillery I chose to use were the cannons, and they take 2 turns to recruit, so you want to make sure that they don't get wiped out. You could very easily trade these out for clay claw catapults, but I decided that I want something that was more damage intensive than instead of just infantry. One way to deplete the ammunition of your gutter runners very quickly is to have them go toe-to-toe with single entities. And while they're accurate enough to do it, having something like those beam cannons really takes it to the next level. Alright guys, well that is all for our Skaven army compositions. Stealth. Be looking out for the next video, which is going to be on weapons team. Thanks for watching. Please smash that subscribe button if you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say in the comment section down below about these compositions, or if you have any other ideas. And of course, if you have any other army compositions that you think I should try, then put them in the comment section down below, as well as any ideas for videos in general. Love to hear them.
Hasta la plaza.